Hey there, friends, design scientists, Pythonistas. So I am going to get back to Coffee Shops Network here. I have put it up on GitHub since the last video, which was very recently. Before I do that, though, let's look at this Hubble article again, and the Buckminster Fullerenes there. Now, Fuller and synergetics, he's really into subdividing entire spheres. So the domes were derivative, right? So the sphere was always his focus. And, spherical polyhedra, rhombic dodecahedra, rhombic tricontahedra, and this thing called a hexapent, although I don't know if that's actually in the Oxford English Dictionary. It's always 12 pentagons, but then the number of hexagons varies, and like the soccer ball is like at the beginning of the sequence, and then you have more and more hexagons. So in my blog here, I have a letter from Harold Croto. He's writing to a guy and talking about the history of the naming of Buckminster Fullerene and where he got that name. Right, he was influenced by Fuller. He wanted to name it Fullerene and not Saccharine. He's actually got a link to my website. I've got to make sure I pay that bill. Got to keep that website going. So, naming a Buckminster Fullerene. This is by Ed Applewhite, and he really tracked. There's Harold Croto there, picture of him, and there's Applewhite and Bucky together. That's a famous picture, and there's Richard Smalley, another Nobel Prize recipient for this discovery. And then I have an Applewhite link here. Where does that go? It goes to his visit to Oregon here. So, and then that links to his, back to his article, right? So I've got a lot about Applewhite here. Let's go back to what I'm going to talk about again. Coffee Shops Network. I can actually look through NB Viewer now, and there's the Buckminster Fuller Institute at the bottom. Why? Because since Fuller died in '83, and BFI has rolled along since then as a charitable organization. And what it does is it has a challenge, or it did this for a while. I don't know if they're doing it anymore, but they had a challenge every year and would give the winner of their award a lump sum. So that's a picture of one charitable giving, one like nonprofit supporting others, right? And that's in a lot of ways what Coffee Shops Network is like. It's a place to uh, give others it's like you're giving the gift of giving others the gift to give. You're giving the gift of letting others give. Because a lot of people are not going to be millionaires anytime soon in the sense of being able to, give significant amounts of money through foundations or whatever. But to be able to exercise your priorities in the world and have that reflected on your record, and so you can look back with pride at what you did manage to do and so on. There's lots of ways to think about this and talk about this. And you're probably asking yourself at this point, what is it about the games? Like why not just, if you're wanting to give money to charitable giving, why valve it through, even if you're helping others learn about charitable giving and doing all that, why make them play games to, and why it's like putting a resistor in the circuit when you're trying to give money, right? Well, the thing is, the games are many dimensional in themselves. They're an opportunity to you star in certain fields. Think of a game in a broad sense. Think that you might actually, in the course of playing the game, have to go somewhere and actually maybe it's not unpleasant at all. I'm not saying games have to be these arduous, punishing things. They're perhaps to win a game and to do well in a game and to therefore be able to give to charity at the end of it, you might have to go somewhere. They might actually feed you food and give you a lecture. You know, maybe it's almost like a sales talk. They're like recruiters wanting you to respect what they do and maybe join them at some point. And maybe you get a little bit of training along there. You get to sort of semi apprentice in some of these. Like, we distribute the education function a lot more so that every business has more kids coming through uh, if they have it all the maturity to do whatever. And I'm not saying every job can be a kid job, not not just trying to live in some other reality. Adults can play this game too. So these gigs don't all have to just be driving, right? There's lots of things you can do, and some of it involves learning about charitable giving and being a player in that sense. So the games might be educational and they might involve more than just sitting at a computer eventually. You might get certain credits as you play the game towards getting a meal somewhere. If you go there on the bus, you know that you'll get credits towards the bus, whatever, because once we have a record that it's you and your identity, you're authenticated as you. And of course, there's always concern about abuse and all that. But, when we have a certain person at the end of the line, we're interested in their charitable giving habits and also what games they choose. And if they're getting really good at certain games, we're like, whoa, this is somebody, maybe we're going to offer a job interview or, you know, you can this data is not necessarily hidden. We can talk about what kind of, you know, we're learning in Facebook and other environments how to control our own profiles. That's kind of a training we're all in already. So, Coffee Shops Network, it's another social media experiment, and I'm trying to protect it so that it can have a lot of implementations and not get locked up in some one implementation. So I'm trying to stay generic and get my IP out there in a hurry and open sourced so that you can base your initial projects on something that's clearly open source and not worry about it. This is very primitive. I'm not looking for pull requests. Just show me, another professional implementation that just goes way beyond what I'm doing, and invite me to join efforts. Same thing as I'm trying to find other people who want to help teach Martian math, right? I don't want to be the one and only. It's not like there's a big community. So be in touch, make some YouTubes, show me what you're up to. I'll talk to you later.